How's it going, gang? It's the final render here, and in today's video of Fallout 76 camp building, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new building technique I've discovered to get interior plants in your settlements. Now, building interior planters was something that was added to Fallout 4 in their very first DLC. However, it has been absent in Fallout 76 thus far. And because Fallout 76 is an online game that's meant to last for years, if there is something that actually isn't in the game as of right now, you've got to assume it's coming soon. But we don't wait for stuff like that on the Final Render channel, so we're going to make our very own planters right now in this fantastic greenhouse build. So to build our fantastic greenhouse, I have come to the town Morgantown. It's a lovely little spot here. We've got a lot of open ground, we've got lots of sunny weather for the most part. It typically doesn't rain here as much, and we've also got lots and lots of resources already growing around here. Around here you can find moot fruit and you can find razor grain growing in quite a large abundance, as well as some rarer stuff that you can't actually plant, like starlight berries for example, so you can turn that into the pies. And we've got our camp right on the river because I'm going to want to have access to actual water. We're going to be going for another adhesive farm build here because that is genuinely very useful. But even if you don't want to make adhesive, this is still fantastic for making soup as well, so great for always having food and water at any one time. So we're going to start off with our foundations, and I've managed to finally get my fantastic wind generator tower working. If you guys remember the last time we built an adhesive farm, I tried to do this. I spent ages trying to build a little tower enclosing a power generator, but it just didn't work. But now I've had a few more weeks with the game, I've learned a lot more building techniques, I managed to get it to work. If you want to have a brief explanation on how I kind of did it, check out the adhesive farm build because the method is about the same. I'm just much better at it now. And of course we've got a powered door in here. I've actually never used the powered doors, but it's about time, you know, I finally found a use for them. And right at the back of the camp we have got a little ramp going down to the river where there is an industrial water purifier. It's about time I finally had an industrial water purifier in my camp. Most of the times we have only got the little ones that you can put into the concrete, the ones which only produce 2 water, but now it's nice to actually have a proper industrial one. And here we go with a look at the greenhouse so far. We're going for quite a small little build here, but everything about this is lovely. The tower itself has got such thin tolerances. I've probably used about 3 different glitches in order to get that tower to fit in there as perfectly as it does, but it looks great and it really feels like it's integrated into the building, which I love. And now we need to go ahead and put some power in here because it is a little bit dark in here, especially when it's nighttime, of course, because there's no real windows leading into the middle. We've only got windows on the edges, so it can get a bit dark in here. And we've actually managed to put up these lights attached to our conduits, which looks really good. You guys know I love the conduits. Helps really make things easier when it comes to wiring. But now, let's talk about this glitch then. In order to get the plants to work, you need to plant them onto the dirt, and then we need to move them onto a rug. Now obviously using rug glitch and stuff is pretty commonplace, but there are a few extra tricks to this. You can't just place it in the center of the rug. You need to place it right on the edge of the rug, and then you can pick it up. And of course, once you pick it up by the rug, the game is registering the physics of the rug and not the plant. So the plant is already registered that it's on the ground. But when we move the rug, we move the plant, but it's still registered as on the ground. Some of the bigger fruits, like the moot fruit for example, and even some of the corn, are more problematic though, because it's got a giant stalk coming out of the bottom which still intersects with tables. So to counteract that, you put the moot fruit onto a rug, and then you put that rug onto a second rug. So now you're only registering the physics of the 2 rugs, not the moot fruit plant, which means you can actually place it onto the table, which is fantastic. It can be very difficult with some of the bigger ones, as I said, but you can do it. And of course, you can actually just slide in a little planter right there if you want to. No tricks to that, you can just slide it in, it's fantastic. That plant pot is actually from the White Springs Planters plan, which you can get from the White Springs at Studio 51, I believe it's called. And now we're just going to make as many of these as possible. We're going to put them onto these big long rustic tables, which look really good. They look a little bit worn down already. And it does take time to do this, people. It really does take time. I tried to save some time by maybe blueprinting some of these plants already done so I could just place them onto tables whenever I wanted to. But that doesn't really work. You need to place the plant first and then move it onto the rug. Otherwise, it doesn't register as being on the ground. And you need the plant to register as being on the ground before you can put it onto a rug and then move it. So honestly, It's generally easier just to start from scratch every single time, and after a bit of practice, you do get pretty good at it. And as I said, not all of them require 2 rugs, some of them only require the 1 rug, which does make things much faster. It's really only the moot fruit, the corn, the blackberries can be problematic, and the carrots, I really struggle to get them to look good, but in theory, this is possible with all of them. Here we can even see we've got 3 sets of potatoes on 1 very small rug, which is fantastic. That means we can get much more potatoes in every single table. And I would say using a smaller rug is harder than using a big rug, but obviously the smaller rugs you can get ones that are brown, which actually means it will blend into the table a bit better, so players won't notice really the rug on the table as much, they'll just see the plants, which is great, but sometimes you really do need to use the bigger grey rug in order to get the glitch to work. And sometimes you can get 2 of them right on the edge with the corn, but typically speaking, if you can only get 1, don't be ashamed about that. It took a long time to get 2, and we can actually get it to work with other things as well. Some of the wider ones, for example, like here we have got gourds. Gourds are really good for making soup. You can actually plant lots of these and get soup with them. Same for the corn, for example, so that's great if you want to go ahead and make food, rather than, say, adhesive, for example. And we're now going to decorate this place. As I said, this is going to be quite a small little build, this one, but I want it to be quite cozy, and I want it to be pretty much entirely practical. I don't necessarily want to make a home with this one. I want this to be literally just a greenhouse. So we've got all the plants in there, we've got all the tables in there in order to make it look like this, kind of like a little office area, as well as all the crafting tables and stuff like that. We need to actually not only turn adhesive into other things and scrap them and stuff like that, but we also need to cook them. We need a chemistry station as well. So why not just put all of them in there? You know what I mean? We do want to put some nice decorations in here though. Go ahead and put some of the busts onto the desks, have some of the labels on the lockers. I don't really use these too often because they're just a little bit hard to read, so typically I tend to leave these out, and obviously they take up budget as well, but in this case, since we're not building a giant home, we're actually able to get away with little decorations like that. And after that, really, it's just about putting much more plants down. It takes a long time to do each individual one, but once you've got a few going, you pick up speed and you start to get really good at it. And we're also going to do a couple decorations on the outside, put lots of signs on the outside, and make the place look quite inviting. Because one thing which is great about the camp system is when other players come to see your home. It's very rewarding, and I really like it when other players turn up to my camp. And here we are with the place done. Very small little build, this one, but I absolutely adore this place. Everything about it feels practical, and I honestly think this is my most advanced build I've ever done. Because as I said, the tower took like 3 or 4 glitches to make, and also the plant is a brand new glitch, which I honestly haven't seen anyone else do. There might be people who have done it, I don't know, but I personally haven't seen any, and I love it. I love the fact that we're able to attach the lights to the conduits on the ceiling, because I didn't want wires everywhere. Wires suck, and also having conduits on the ceiling kind of makes it look like it has a sprinkler system in here, which is even cooler. I didn't even think about that until I placed it down on the ceiling and I thought, hey, that looks like a sprinkler system. That's pretty cool. I was also planning to maybe expand this into the future. As we know, coming out just next month, we've also got the Distilling DLC coming out. And I'm hoping maybe that will also have some other plants we can use as well. Maybe some of the plants we can use to make our own chems as well as our own alcohol. So we could probably turn this same idea and make kind of like a moonshining still, which I think would be really cool. A little moonshining shack. We've also got some nice quality of life improvements for the player, such as decontamination arch. We did have to put a new generator in there to power that specifically, but you don't have to have that if you just want the one generator in there. And we do have access to our generator, which you can see right through here. Really low tolerances on this tower right here. If the generator was 1mm wider, it just would not work. And of course, we got everything we need to actually function as a camp, with the exception of maybe a bed. But of course, there's nothing stopping you throwing a bed somewhere in here. You could probably throw it in the power generator room if you wanted to. There's still a little bit of space in there. But the thing I love about this the most is that it just feels really neat. It feels very tidy. There's nothing really here that's majorly out of place. The only problem I can think, which is slightly out of place, is that some of the roofing is a bit off, because since we've got this very strange tower, it basically means that we can't really use every single roof piece, so there's a little gap in some of the roof pieces, but I think this is a really special build, people. So let me know what you think of this fantastic build, and let me know, are you going to try this? I've already seen players try it, and they say it works for them as well. So thank you very much for watching this video. Remember to check out all the cool Patreon people in the description below who help support the channel with their financial donations. You yourself, of course, can also do the same, and I'll see you around. This has been the final render, and you've been the audience. Bye bye for now.